Hi guys, so today we're gonna talk about content marketing that drives sales.
Yes, very exciting topic. And we're going to start with a little bit of controversy at the beginning.
Yeah,
We've seen some videos out there in.
it's not videos, it's like more social posts.
Sorry. We've seen social posts out there on social media by some well-respected influence makers, drivers here in Poland, saying content
No, they
inbound
say
marketing
is
is dead.
And what works is like push marketing.
Push marketing. Thank you for that. But we don't actually buy it. We think it's not true.
Content marketing still works and it works very well. It just has to be nicely combined with the push marketing techniques, which are not necessarily push marketing techniques because I don't really like that word either. It's just the smart ways of combining paid traffic with great content.
If you think about this principle, we're going to go over some rules to drive content marketing, but really ignoring one and only going with the other for inbound versus outbound or outbound versus inbound. It's like trying to fight with one arm tied behind your back. It's just not the right move. If you put these two together, you can have really, really powerful combinations. In fact, I think Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this a little bit. Jab, right
and then
hook. and really, if you haven't heard of Gary Vaynerchuk, his book, Jab, 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 Right Hook,
really good.
The whole concept behind that is really give, and then you ask for something. And really, he's just talking about how to warm people up with content and then how to ask them to make the sale. And I think that's a really powerful concept. And we're going to go over this in our rules.
It's the whole, like the first rule actually of the content, because I'm going to go right into the topic of that, is that throughout your funnel, you have to learn to use different types of content. And first of all, you need to have a strategy for your online funnel to even think about producing content. That's something we talk about constantly. Start with the fundamentals, build your persona, understand your market, build a whole strategy of the psychological journey you want to take your persona through in order to sell your product online. And once you have it, then learn that throughout your funnel, there are different content pieces. In the very beginning of the funnel, when someone doesn't know you, you have to give them a bit of a content fast food, something that is quick, will let them consume it with ease. So, you don't ask for a date at the first moment when you see a girl at the bar because she would freak out a little bit. You kind of, phase it with a conversation, like maybe buy her a drink after a few minutes. So that's exactly what you do online. When you go farther down your funnel, then you can start using a little bit more complex content tools like webinars, for example, which are not very good to invite your cold leads to, but are very good to people who are already warmed up with some content before. And once you go even further to your funnel, people who've been to your sales pages, who tried your products through the trials, then it's a good time to show them maybe a complex case study of something you did with your previous clients, or maybe some FAQs where you actually answer the particular questions about the product. So this requires them to think a little bit more, and because they're warmed up, that makes sense.
The second rule is merging content and paid traffic. And this is really the magic of content marketing, is the ability to put out organic, they call it native advertising, in someone's news feed on Facebook or some social channels like Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat or wherever, and make that part of their social day-to-day experience. And you have to do this in a very cool way, but if you do a great job producing that content, whether it's an article or a video or something else, then you can get tons of shares and likes and get really quite a bit of traction with your audience. And the way to get that going is with paying for it. Facebook's very smart. They've designed their algorithm and their content in such a way that you need to pay to get it in front of the right audience. But if you do great targeting and it's really specific to your persona, which is why we teach that, then it can take off.
And you can do retargeting, which is even better.
And then that's really the big part of it, is retargeting people who've seen your paid content. Rule number 3, always have a clear call to action. If you work so hard to put together this amazing content, at the end of an article or end of a video or on top or bottom of an infographic or a picture, have a call to action. And it shouldn't be related to what you ultimately want them to do, which is to buy. It should be related to where they are in the journey. So if at the beginning you're giving them pieces of content for free that's super valuable, and at the end of that content or somewhere embedded in the content, you're just asking them, would you like to learn more? Would you like to join our newsletter list? Would you like to
download something?
Or at this
Join
point,
the webinar,
join a
maybe.
webinar. And that's really the next thing. And then point number 4 is post your content where your persona is hanging out. So
That's a big one.
and this is a big one. And knowing where your persona is hanging out and who they are. If they're on Snapchat, well, if your persona is 40, they're probably not on Snapchat yet. If your persona is...
Well, there is one social media channel where they're most probably hanging on.
Yeah, exactly. And that's Facebook. Everyone still is on Facebook, but if your persona is younger, Snapchat's a great bet, and maybe a lot of your competition is in there. Instagram's also very good for the younger crowd. But Facebook, the granddaddy of them all, that's where everyone is. And I don't care what niche you're in, you can probably and most likely find anyone that you want to sell to that's your ideal.
Even in B2B?
Even in B2B. In fact, what I'm finding in B2B is really, really high-end, high-functioning business people, shocker, are on Facebook. I'm actually
It's
getting...
not a sugar. I mean, what are you doing? What am I doing?
Yeah, we're always on Facebook. And, for those of you...
I'm not on Facebook right now. It's just...
But also LinkedIn.
Notes.
You can find in B2B, obviously, your audience on LinkedIn, but don't count out Facebook. If you know how to do targeting, if you know how to create your ideal client persona with interests on Facebook, you can find them.
And, I heard this really cool statistics recently that if you think you can find your people on Google, well, you can, but most likely only up to 10% of your market will be in Google at this particular time.
And that's also a very competitive space. If you want to buy traffic on Google of people who are looking to buy, all of your competition wants to buy those people too. They're the easiest to sell to, which means the cost per click is very expensive. And the thing about Google is, yes, they're in the buying cycle, so you can send them straight to your sales page. But one thing to try if you are looking at it is send them to the content piece first. Be different.
Yeah, you can try something else too.
Try something else.
And that's really cool.
But this formula really, really works. And we're looking forward to... this formula really, really works. So we definitely think you should try it.
Rule number 5 is actually pretty interesting. And for some people might be a little bit uncomfortable. Because, to do effective content marketing, you actually need some process and you need some consistency. Ooh, big news.
Ava's big on that stuff.
I mean,
really good at
it's not like you're going to produce just one piece of content and that's going to do the work. Content marketing very often reshapes the whole organizations. I really like to recommend this book called Epic Content Marketing by Joe Pulizzi. He's one of the, I think, the biggest authorities in terms of content marketing, and he shows in the book how very often for big organizations, they have to restructure the whole marketing department in order to start doing good content marketing. If you're a small company, you're in a very good position because you are shaping your online marketing department right now. So you can make good choices.
You can also be more creative. You can
be
take
more
chances.
creative, and there's no very traditional structure that you will have to crash in order to start doing content marketing. But remember about 2 things. In order to have this consistency and good process, editorial process, content creation process, content selection process, you will need someone like content manager on your team. It can be you in the beginning, but remember that it's probably something that will take up to 50% of your time. Maybe in the beginning about 30% of your time, but this is the time you will have to devote only to the content management. And the second thing, you will have to start working with the content producers. So people who do professional blogging, do professional video, do other types of content, or you will need to learn these skills yourself. And if you will learn these skills yourself and still want to do content management, that you're only doing content all the time. So you will have to engage someone else to help you with, because otherwise it will be very difficult to make it sustainable and effective. And the last rule of all is that actually what matters is quality over the quantity.
Yes.
That's probably the most important one of all, because good content...
But wait, Ava, I thought that if you put a bunch of stuff out there, you'll get great SEO, right?
Well, SEO should be something...
Newsflash, SEO's dead.
Well,
Did you
it's
guys
not
not
that.
get the memo?
It's still good to SEO optimize the content you're producing because that will give you another source of traffic later on. But
But the old school content farm of bad content, putting it out there, thinking that's going to help your rankings,
for the backlinks or whatever,
completely won't
yeah,
work.
that's just not something that we teach. I mean, I'm sure there are other people in the market who will teach you that and do that for you, but this is not what we are preaching.
It's not worth it.
And
not worth the time and energy.
quality is important. And like, you know, this one content piece can be one of the biggest traffic generators for your business. So if you do the good one, instead of like trying to make immediately the second good one, just take this one really good content piece and turn it into different content forms. If it was a good video, turn it into blog post, turn it into infographic, turn it to the ebook, and start thinking like how you can really develop great content piece and then distribute it in different forms so we can reach more people.
Yeah.
And this,
one idea, one story, one thought
Yeah.
distributed. And this is something I learned from my mentor in traffic, James Schramko.
and we do recommend his podcast, Super Fast Business.
And a course that he does also called Own the Race Course, where he says basically take one great idea, put it out in audio format on podcast, video format on YouTube, Facebook. If you need an infographic, you can do an infographic, do an article, transcript of the video if you don't have the article written. And you put them all out there on all the different channels, even great pictures out on Instagram and other places, and they all point back to your site. And find people where they're hanging out, because some of your audience will be on some sites, some will be on the other, some will be on all of them, and everywhere they go, they see your stuff. And that's what creates this magic of people seeing that you're everywhere and that you really have high quality content.
And the next thing that we would like to cover is actually the deep dive into 6 most effective content pieces. And we will not do this on this video because it's already a little bit long and people tell us maybe we're getting a little bit too long on Facebook. So
I don't think
what
so.
we're gonna do, we're gonna produce really good text posts about each of these 6 important content pieces, which are infographic, article, picture, video, download in terms of
pre-report,
like report, ebook, white paper, and finally webinar, my favorite.
Yep.
So watch out for our posts. We're going to be making them over the next 2 weeks.
Like this video, and you're going to get to see all these posts as they come out.
And like us on Facebook if you still don't.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you have any questions about content marketing, post them below this video.
Definitely.
We'll see you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.